Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of my videos, and today I want to talk about how to tailor your resume to meet the needs of a certain job. So I've seen many people try to put their highest obtained degree on their resume. This is correct for some jobs and it is incorrect for other jobs. So how you want to tailor your resume is the words that you put describing what jobs you did is very important. So for example, you're going for a support admin role, right? And on your job, you already kind of do a support admin kind of stuff. You want to change what you do on your current job to reflect what you are applying for. And in this case, you are applying for a support admin role. So you will be putting in orders, looking at data, organizing things. So if that's what you already do at the job you do, you want to be sure that the hiring manager actually sees this stuff that you are doing in order to increase the likelihood that the manager is going to contact you, because that means you already have a little bit of knowledge regarding regarding what the job requires, right? And that's what the hiring manager wants to see. Now, going back to my other point on why you do not want to put the highest obtained degree on your resume is because sometimes, well, most of the times, the job you are applying for does not require you to have such a high degree, and in most cases it's going to scare off the hiring manager simply because they think and fear that you will be asking for a higher salary because you have a higher degree. And this happens when you're applying to jobs such as when you're looking at the job description on the very bottom, it'll say preferred degree bachelor's, right? So if you have a master's or a PhD, I would suggest if it says preferred degree bachelor's, it's okay to put master's on there, which means you're a little bit higher than the rest of the applicants, making it look okay. But if you have a PhD and the position is asking for a bachelor's, I would 100% not put that PhD on the list, because for one, the hiring manager is most likely going to ask you, you have a PhD, why are you applying for a job like this, right? And obviously you can give them a lot of reasons and things like that, but that's if you can get to the human part of the interview. What companies do nowadays is they have an algorithm to sort through most of the applicants. So your application will end up being screened first by a machine, line by line by line, in order to see if your application meets the key words of what the job description is. So if you surpass a certain amount, the algorithm will just not push your resume or allocate your resume to a real person. It'll simply delete your resume and you'll never be seen again. Another thing is, if you are applying for retail jobs, and not to say retail jobs are low end, because sometimes you really need the income, and in Canada 70% of the financial sector, I would say not the financial sector, but the economy compromises 70% is retail. The 30% remaining is, some other jobs, construction, mining, whatever. So what you're looking at is, if you're out of a job, 70% chance you are going to be looking at a retail job. And most retail jobs do not need you to have such a high degree, right? Think about it. If you're applying for a Walmart associate and you put on your resume, I have a master's in computer science, no one's going to hire you. 100%. They're not even going to bother with your resume. And this is because it's not because you're not qualified, you're overqualified. And in order to tune that down, I would even suggest not putting a bachelor's degree on it. Just appear like you came straight out of high school, you have no experience whatsoever, The retail person, the hiring manager, would more likely hire you and look at your profile than if you were to have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or a PhD degree. And this requires a lot of experimentation, and the interview process itself is flawed, so it takes a lot of experimentation and to see what works for you, right? So if you're trying to go for a retail sector, this is what I would suggest doing. If you're trying to go for a more tech position, you want to stack up your resume, right? You want to put as much stuff as you can on your resume to make it look like you're overqualified for a simple position because it's tech and people like smart people in tech, right? The hiring manager is going to love if a PhD or a master's in, let's say, AI, and they already have a master's degree in AI, they obviously want some overqualified person to come in and help their team, right? Because they already know what they're doing. But like I mentioned, if depends on the job. If you're going for retail, it's not what I would be doing personally, right? So that's sort of a breakdown between how I should tailor my resume and how I should write it. So always prepare multiple versions of your resume in order to fit the criteria of the job you're looking for. And that's all I have for today, and I'll see you in the next video.